Hello and welcome to video 5 altogether. So this is video number 2 on the second day of art&York Online 2021, and we're going to start with Kate Petite, who is an artist and a painter. Now Kate's work is predominantly landscape based, although she does do some figurative pieces as well when you look on her website. You can just see from this image here just how absolutely inspired by really raw kind of movement and shifting light and changing weather conditions of the landscape. She just creates these beautiful paintings which really capture that and have a real elemental, instinctive feel to them. She describes her work as capturing the character and uniqueness of place and people, and I think you can see here that she absolutely achieves that with this work. Her sense of colour and her brush strokes and mark making is just beautiful.
And so now we move on to Catherine Lees. She is a ceramic artist and she uses hand-built porcelain to create her vessels. She also creates wall pieces and jewellery. I think you can really see from this image that when she says she's inspired by the Victorian era cabinets of curiosities, you can absolutely see it. But she really brings a modern twist. And I think one of the ways that she does that is that she likes to keep the work unglazed, but then she uses these touches of gold. And there's something about that that's evocative of the Victorian era, but it's also bang up to date and really contemporary.
And next we have another ceramicist, Katie Lowe. And Katie is she creates miniature slip cast vessels. I actually own a couple of them, a nice little grouping of them myself on my shelves, and I just love the simplicity of them and how all the focus of Katie's work is on the really simple form but the colour. She actually adds the colour to the clay body, so the colour isn't painted on top of each form, the colour is actually the colour of the clay. And that's really just beautiful and really lends itself to being collected in a group, and she displays all of her pieces regularly in lovely playful compositions.
We move on now to Kevin France. He actually uses a medium which not that many people use, which is enamelling. So it's really interesting to see an artist using enamel and how the multiple firings of the enamel create these layers of colour. So he's actually using a vitreous enamel on copper. I think it's pretty obvious that Kevin is very much inspired by the British towns and landscapes around him. He understands the wild and crazy wind-swept Pennines where we are, but he also has the capacity to evoke places. It really brings a sense of memory.
Next we've got Kevin McNulty. Kevin is a printmaker and he was part of our Raw Talent 2020 as well. Now you can see from this image that Kevin's work is lots of layers and lots of process built up in each piece. He uses a mixture of mono-printed mark making with spontaneous hand-drawn images, and you can really see that there's a very controlled yet organic element to them. the composition is important to Kevin, so the way he places each individual piece.
His newer work is also quite interesting because he's really moved into very spontaneous, bold, expressive movements. So I think we can imagine from Kevin that over the next few years we're going to see that his work moves on, and it becomes bolder and more expressive.
Next we've got Laura Plant, who is a ceramicist, and again I own a couple of Laura's pieces actually. She creates the most beautiful domestic ware. She creates quite a few different forms, whether they're vessels, they might be little plant pots, they might be little bowls, they might be vases. They all link to each other. They've all got a similar feel to their forms. And so again, these are just perfect for pairing and grouping together and displaying as a group. She is very delicate with the way that she glazes them, so she will use very traditional glazes and just let the glaze sing on each piece. So you can really see in this image here, which has a few different vessels in it, that each one links to the other, and she just treats each one really delicately. We've got Leo Moray next, and Leo is a painter and also one of our Raw Talent artists from 2020. Leo is a Cuban artist, and he moved to York not that long ago, and you'll see by the work that we have on our website from him, he was absolutely just blown away by the rain when he arrived in England, and just by the colours, the light, the reflections in the puddles. And when he moved to England, the inspiration that gave him was just phenomenal, and he created these absolutely mesmerising paintings, and such detail as well, of York scenes in the rain. As he's kind of developed as an artist, he's now, if you look on his website, started to explore his heritage a lot more and his cultural experiences from living in and growing up in Cuba, and that's really coming through in his new work. He's really looking at studies of everyday life, of people and the places that he met and he knew when he was younger, and you can really see that really rich heritage coming through.
So, and we're now going to talk about an artist, Leon Hampson. He is a printmaker, and he creates limited edition prints which are influenced and interested by, in a way, artificial intelligence. Evocative of memory, of place, and also of the experimentation that he likes to bring into his work. His pieces are produced using machine learning software, which means that each time that one of these prints is created, it has a change, it has a kind of spontaneity of life that's actually coming from the computer itself. His sense is that he's creating cultural memories, and he's using mythology within them.
Next we've got Leslie Shaw, who is an artist and printmaker. Now Leslie works primarily in charcoal, dip pen and ink, and traditional printmaking techniques such as lino cuts and monoprinting and dry point. She has got an absolutely great eye at capturing the beauty and simplicity of form. Her figurative work is just amazing. It's got a real gravity to it, yet the line and mark making she uses is so delicate and light. She she often adds in bits of colour through either printmaking or painting and layering up these images, and that results in these really bold and striking pieces of work which are quite illustrative in a way, but they've got a real fine art quality to them as well.
We're going to move on now to Libby Ward, who is a jeweller. Her work is it's got a do you know what, I think I'm going to have to say it's a little bit of an otherworldly quality. There's something where you can kind of drop into the work and kind of lose yourself. I think you can really see from this image there's something evocative of either looking into the solar system or into an underwater scene. And the way that she does that is that she's bringing in natural objects into the work, as well as the sort of silver and gold materials. And her work is about tactility. She wants the work to be held and touched and connected with, as it's a piece of wearable art.
It's beautiful, really thought-provoking. Next we've got Linda Edwards, and Linda is an artist who creates these absolutely stunning paintings which really have a strong kind of a strong link to traditional methods and ancient art. They just glow. They really glow when they're on the wall, and that's because she incorporates a lot of gold leaf within the work. There's a lot of Persian and Indian influence, and she's looking at these old traditional ways of working and really bringing them into the kind of modern era. The work she creates is just so intricate, and you can really see the level of detail in each piece, and a lot of the time it's looking at like a scene, like a tree with birds, or it might be a group of flowers or plants, but the level of detail is just mesmerising at times.
And our final artist of the 12 of this video block is Lisa Gibson. She is a designer maker and she makes bags. She creates these bags using traditional Harris tweed fabric. And you can see here, this is a person who's got very good craft skills. She knows how to make a bag. And she knows how to bring colour and form into those bags. So it's the way that she coordinates the different types of fabric of the tweed in with the leather of the straps and of the handle. And every bag has this lovely gold logo, LG, for Lisa Gibson, so you'll know absolutely if you can spot one of hers. The other thing about her bags is the way that they tone with the landscape, so that there's something, even with the bright coloured ones, that those colours absolutely come from nature. So for me personally, when I see the yellow, I'm absolutely there with the gorse bushes. So that's the end of our second video of second day, video 5. We hope that you've really enjoyed it. We've got one more video to come today, and then we've got videos tomorrow too. So we hope that you'll join us later on this afternoon. I think we're going to go and have a bit of lunch. Probably cake as well. Definitely lunch, and we'll see you this afternoon when hopefully we won't have dripped it all down ourselves. But
not promising.
We'll see.